We'll do the intro now. Let me get some water real quick. All right. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Tawanda's Live Request. We're going to talk about music and shit. I'm your host, Tawanda. I'm here with the co-host, Nick. What's up, Nick?
What's up, man?
I got my producer, Uche, in the building. What up, Uche?
What's good? What's good?
Yeah, and we got a guest from fucking my college homie from Framingham State College to University. Give it up to Darius Heywood, everybody. What up, Darius?
What's going on? What's going on from the East? How y'all doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm doing good, man. Happy to have you on the show, bro. This is crazy. Like, I knew Darius before I did any of this shit. Like, it's great. Like, legit. Like back in the day, we used to just go to my apartment and just get high as shit and just listen to music, and then be like, what the like. I would play some songs. He'd be like, what the fuck? Why are you playing this?
Nah, that's a fact, man. That was a dope time, bro. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it was coming to age, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it was great. What was crazy though, it was just like, I remember like, cause we weren't like cool like that at first. Keon was my homie because Keon's cousin went to BC with all of like my high school homies. So I was tight with him and I met you through him. And I remember I'd play shit, you'd be like, oh, what the fuck? But then like one day we were arguing about French Montana. And I was like, yo, that nigga is trash. And you're like, nah, he's nice. He's nice.
Bro, because at that time, yo, he was so on fire because me and Rob, we were so into the Cocaine City DVDs. And
yeah,
that's when he was running around with Uncle Murder. So he had this one record. I forget the name of it, but it was this joint that was in the video. And just the whole video and the song, I remember we used to always rap it on campus. So I was like a heavy French Montana fan. And he used to be in Brockton sometimes with Max B. So
yeah, because Dame Grease is out there, right?
Right, that's a fact. Right. So you know, back then
go
ahead, bro.
I fucking hated French. I thought he was bringing Max B down. I couldn't stand it. I remember there's in the lunchroom. You're like, nah, French is nice. Right? I was like, yo, get the French is so trash. But he was like all beat. I know. Let's see. I got it because there's one song I played. I remember I heard it and I was just like, oh shit. And I remember I saw you in the lunchroom. I said the name of the song and you looked at me like, yeah, see, now you know.
Right, exactly.
What was it?
I get that too, though. I get that too because you know what I'm saying. I get it. Max B was on fire, man. So he has like a cult following. So a lot of people, you know, they attribute, you know, French Montana and his growth and then the way he, you know, kind of like made changes as an artist to Max B, which, you know, I think that people rub off on you. But I think French Montana always had like sort of an it factor as far as like, you know, his ability to do hooks. And he was a dope rapper. He was a battle rapper at first too. So
he was. Yeah, literally after that song, I remember like you said that, and I was like, all right, if he saw it, there's more of this. I started listening to Mad French. I can't. The song is hella like it's hard to find. I just remember French Montana's verse like it was yesterday because he came on and he said, "Hopping out the coop, chain all tangled, take over the grain, no stangles." No, we say no Prangles, singles, chips on stack, Ben's home. I was like, who the fuck is that's French Montana?
You know what I'm saying?
He was passing. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? But I think we kind of like rubbed off on each other, even with the whole Gucci Man thing. Like that's the first thing I probably tell people about.
You hated Gucci.
I was a Northeast kid, man. You know
that
was the first time. That was the first time in my life I ever heard anybody say their favorite rapper was Gucci Man.
I remember the look you gave me. Like, is this nigga serious? Like, cause it was just yo. This is a song. Yo, this is a song. You know,
name of the song?
That's called Friends. Honestly, it's like Max is doing Max shit, and it's cool. But like because Max B at the time, every Max B verse was like about 3 things, and he would just rap in a circle to get to those 3 things. Like it'd be like, wait, what the fuck? Like what are you talking about? And he's like, it was weird. It was like,
but the melodies though.
Yeah, the melodies were crazy.
Max rapped about Sour Diesel.
Yep, he loves Sour.
Grand Crew. Women, and the 4th thing might have been like allegedly armed robbery.
allegedly.
But the way he put the melodies on it and the way he put his thing down when he, you know what I'm saying, when he was rapping and making his songwriting, it was impeccable, bro.
Oh, here comes. Turn up. No sangle, prangle, chips on stack. It's all black. Fall back. Off East I this niggas can't talk that high. I took my time. Right here. I'm the one like McGrady.
Yeah.
Just think what's thinking. Shoot you in the face while the police looking. I was like, oh my god. Because this turn right down. But this mixtape, I remember because it was y'all and Keon, and like this came out around the same time as Drake's So Far Gone. Yep. And I remember like it was like my Boston homies was all like, yo, So Far Gone is so dope. But then all my because Brockton was at Framingham heavy. And that's when I realized, like, because I used to like Brockton. Also, shout out to Brockton because Brockton was the only niggas I knew that like would, instead of being like, yo, I'm from Boston, where you from? No, I'm from Worcester. Like, nah, sorry, Nick, but it's like it'd be like, because Nick's from Worcester, you say Boston.
I only say it when I'm far enough away that I'd have to spell it for people to know what
I
rock
with Worcester too, Nick. I rock with Worcester too.
Yeah, I fuck with Worcester, but like Brockton was the only people that'd be like, yo, I'm from Brockton. No matter where he was at, I'm from Brockton.
Nah, for sure, bro. And yo, a crazy backstory on that, just to go into that quick on how, you know, Brockton kind of ended up at Framingham. So my first year when I went there, you know how it was. It wasn't really a lot of black people. There was maybe like 10 of us, like real ones. You know, you feel me? So then I remember working in the athletic office. The AD just straight up asked me one day, he was like, yo, we need more black people on campus. And he was like, yo, can you try to help me recruit these players, get them there on the football team? So I remember at that time, a couple of dudes came up, my boy Rome.
I remember Rome. Yeah.
Carlito.
Yeah.
This kid Harold, and you remember Buddha?
I remember Buddha. I remember Buster. I don't remember Buddha.
Buster. Excuse me. Yeah,
Buster. Shout out to Buster. Shout out to Buster. I don't know where you at. I hope you hear this, but like, I was the first Brockton rap nigga I ever heard. I was like, this nigga's nice.
Yeah, he had the battle. That's still on YouTube.
I remember that.
Yeah. So you know, they came up for the visit. You know, I showed them around. They ended up coming. I remember at the same time, you know, I had I had Chad. We spoke over the summer. He wanted to come in for hoops. So, you know, they was trying to, you know, kind of help me out. So I got some people in there. And then I remember after that, it was kind of just like a snowball effect. You know, Royce came, and then he had a couple of people from Boston. And I remember the influx of people from Boston just coming in Brockton. And then, you know, by the time we were seniors, like we was pretty much running the campus.
Yo, that shit, I remember that shit like it was just, that was a good time, bro.
Yeah.
And it was like, I just remember like, again, because I could talk, Loki, I had you on because we had this podcast. This is a great meeting, but I was like, I have to show love to Brockton at some point. This is a Boston podcast, but I have to show love to Brockton because Brockton always had like the cool, everyone used to be like, yo, Brockton niggas be crazy. I was like, no, and every Brockton nigga that I met was mad polite, mad nice and shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, that's what it is. It's like, anybody you meet from Massachusetts, they probably got a homie from Brockton just because we, you know, solid, loyal, we cool, you know, just like anywhere else, you know, it do get real, get wild at times.
Oh, of course.
But you kind of learn how to maneuver through that. But at the end of the day, most people will tell you they got a real close and solid homie from Brockton. Oh
yeah, I got hella homies from Brockton because like I remember there'd be days in my crib, people would be so high at my spot. We used to smoke mad weed. We used to smoke like it used to be like I used to smoke so much weed because people would just smoke me up, and I was like, I'm not paying for it. So it'll just be like, all right, people would come through and smoke like 3 blunts, but then people would come through after that and smoke 3 more blunts. Then upstairs, my roommates, people upstairs would smoke more blunts, and I'm like, so by the end of the night, I'd smoke like 12 blunts.
Right, and it was love. And let me give you your flowers now too while we here. That's like my thing I've been on, especially you know, over the years, bro. Watching your growth, you know, doing the stand-up comedian thing, and me and Rob was talking about that. We remember when you said you was gonna do that, and we were just kind of like, what?
Yeah, everyone,
You know what I'm saying? But seeing where you are now and everything you've done is just kind of like a testament to just like people who get it out the mud and do it on their own, man. So like, I'm super proud of you, bro. And like,
thanks, man. I appreciate that. And you helped because one of our first guests who literally like came on the show and was just like, all right, what are you guys doing? Remember, Nick, we interviewed John from Insecure?
Mm-hmm.
That's because Darius linked me with him at first. Darius was gonna be like, "Yo, I know I was coming from Boston. He's mad funny." That's how me and John got cool because we did a show in Cambridge where the crowd didn't want to laugh at anything I had to say, but it was still like, all right, we were still having a good time. But then like John came on was just like, "Yo, Tawanda, why are you so dark in this?" He just came on and fixed everything. Like Fozzie, he came on and was like, "Yo, what are you guys doing?"
That shit was funny though, Nick. Like, I'm gonna keep it 100. Super dark, but it was hilarious. Like they was bugging.
Because I saw them getting STDs and shit. They're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah, I know.
Because that's the thing I realized too. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it was like I never ever thought the things I said were so off the wall until I saw niggas be like, "What the fuck is going on?" Right. I was just like, more like, I don't know. No, there's one day I remember that has me rolling. I remember it was me, you, Keon, and Swerve was there. We was all smoking, and I was playing Eminem, right? And Keon read this story about this kid that got murdered and thrown into the lake.
I remember this shit.
And then you were just like, "Yo, why are you playing this shit? Look what's happening."
Bro, we was bugged out.
You got mad quiet. You were like, "What the fuck?"
But you gotta learn to understand Tawanda to get like why he likes this shit.
Yeah, because you didn't know me. You're like, who the fuck is this thing?
When you first introduced to it, you know he don't mean no harm and he a good dude, but you just like, "Yo, what's up?" But it's just him, bro, and it's just like he's super interested in things. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's the polite way of saying I'm kind of autistic. My friend Sam broke it all the way down. She's like, "No, Tawanda, you are like, no, like you're autistic, bro. Like, look, you do things in this way that people don't think like that." And I was like, "Oh, all right." But another memory I had that this is the only reason I like. This is one of the reasons I love this album. All right, so I remember back in the day, I was like this whole hip hop backpack. I had like, "Oh, only like real hip hop, no, none of that fake shit. I don't fuck women all to this bullshit, like loser shit, like almost incel-y rap shit." But then Rick Ross, 50 Cent had just dissed Rick Ross. All right, just dissed him, the pimpin' curly shit. He had his baby moms out. They had the sex tape with his other baby's mom and shit, all this shit. And then Rick Ross dropped Deeper Than Rap. And then we was all in the crib. Ooh, check it ready. We were all in the crib. We played Rich Off Cocaine for the first time. It was a Saturday afternoon. The sun, it was bright as shit. We all listened to that shit. Right. Yeah. And I remember your face, because we were all just like, "He's a CEO. Da, da, da. We heard Rich Off Cocaine. I remember you were sitting there and you were just like, "Leave him. I don't care. I believe everything. I believe it. I believe it, dog." He sounds like, yo,
listen to me. And this is why. This is the backstory, right? Not only from that song, I believe it was very soon after that. Like it was like during the promo run. That's when they had the video when they was in Colombia.
Yeah.
And Gunplay
was doing the cocaine.
Broke down the rock and did the line right in front of the cop.
I remember that.
And I was like, "Yo, I believe it."
Yeah, I remember, the way you said "I believe it" was so sincere that I was just like, "Yo," I listened to that whole album because we listened into the crib. I'm smoking. I'm like, "All right, whatever." But then, like, after you said that shit, I listened to that album so much. This one song, I remember. This one song, I was in Zimbabwe. I was leaving my grandma's homestead, right? So I'm like, so to leave, we have to get on like. It's out in the middle of nowhere, no electricity. So we have to get on a truck that'll take us to a bus that will drive us where we need to go. So I'm on the back of this pickup truck, right? It's an old Toyota pickup truck. And I'm looking in the sky. The sky has clouds in it. And I'm listening to Rich Off Cocaine. And I really fucking felt it.
You feel it, bro.
And I feel it. And I was just like, yo.
That's one of the best Rich Ross songs I ever heard.
Hands down.
That shit was like beautiful, amazing drug music, bro.
Oh my God. You got to sell cocaine after. You got to sell drugs after that.
Like, and if you're not, and that's one of those things where it's like, if you're not from urban areas, or if you don't have the mental space to understand why somebody would sell drugs, you'll never appreciate music like that. Because it's not about glorifying it. It's about just understanding, like, damn, this shit is luxurious.
Exactly. What did you say? Chickens put me in position to donate the rice. And I remember you stopped and pause that. Please go pause that. Chickens put me in position to donate the rice. I was like,
come on, it's different, man. You gotta respect that. Like, you gotta respect that, man.
Yeah, bro. Nah, of course, and that's why, like, I always had a respect, and like, just why I always appreciate you coming to the crib, because it would be like, yo, because at the crib I play whatever songs I wanted to play, and people are usually like, all right, it's his house, I'm not really gonna say anything. You're the only person to be like, well, no, we're not playing that shit. Yo, you be like, what the fuck are you doing?
But I feel like a dick too, y'all. I feel like an asshole.
No, because I told them, I was like, I don't think this dude likes me. It wasn't until that French Montana shit, and I was like, oh, this is just who he is, and I was like, oh, because
I hate that come off like that sometimes.
No, it's just that you just care a lot, and then I got a part of me after that, I was like, yo, it's okay to tell somebody something's bad because you care. Like, one of my favorite moments, this happened outside of it. There's a white kid at our school that started rapping, right? And all the white kids was just like, yo, this dude is so nice. Da 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 da. I'm not gonna say his name because he might must like, no, fuck it. I'll say it was TC. It was TC, right?
Remember? Oh my god.
Because he was like, when he started rapping, I used to be like, yo, this nigga is trash, bro. Like, he's a cool dude, but he's bad. Then one day I was at a party. I was black. I had a bottle of Ciroc for the first time. I threw up that night. But then I was just like, yo, my bro, I think you're a great dude, but I think your music is just bad, dog. I didn't know his producer was right next to him.
I remember TC, bro.
And his producer was like
so crazy to me because everybody thought he was so like
alien. Dog. He wasn't. And then, like, all right, so his producer is like getting madder. And his homie's like, hey, yo, my man, take this beer, walk away. It's gonna get bad if you stay here. And I did. And then flash forward like 4 or 5 years. My homie Sam is at Laugh Boston. We all there. She's doing a show. And TC is there. And I see him out the corner of my eye, and he's talking to Sam. He's like, yo, you do comedy? I have a friend that went to school with who does comedy. And as he said, I have a friend, he sees me. He's like, oh, shit, what up, Tawanda? He's like, oh, da-da-da. Yo, I just want to say, like, bro, I remember you told me to stop rapping. You was right, bro. I shouldn't have been doing that shit at all.
It be like that, man.
And I'm like, yo, so shout out to TC. TC, if you hear this shit, shout out to you, bro. That was so honest, and I appreciated that. And it hurt my heart. Yeah, and I'll shout out to telling people don't rap.
Hey, man, it be like that sometimes, yo.
Yeah, and that's what
I'm not killing nobody's dreams, but sometimes, you know.
Yeah, that brings me to my next thing, bro. It was just like listening to you rap. On the other hand, I was like, when did you get good at rapping? Like, because the thing is, I'm not saying that, I mean in the way of just like at the time, I didn't even know you was I didn't even know you was rapping when I knew you. Then I know where it's like, hey, yeah, I rap now. Here's my album. I remember listening to your album where you dropped my name on the album, and I was on my way to get a tattoo in Jamaica, Queens. So I'm listening to your album on the train because it was cool because I had no service the entire way. I was crowded, packed train. This is before Corona. I'm just standing for like 45 hours straight, just listening to your shit, and I was like, oh shit. This nigga's rapping like this.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Those are like dope moments for me. I try to, I try not to be so heavy with just throwing names there just for the reason. Like I want it to be like a purpose at a moment and to bring people back. So like on that record, which was Shit Ain't Changed Much too From the East project. Smoking dope at Tawanda's, listen to Gucci and Cameron.
That's what we did it. Yeah.
It just brought me back to a time, it's just so honest, and I'm particular with details, and I know people will enjoy those moments, hearing that, like, yo, you remembered, or like, I remember, that shit for real. That was such a dope moment for me, man. Like, it was literally like, it was from Framingham. There was 3 dudes that like I'm so happy. Like 2 dudes actually now, because one of them stopped rapping. I'm gonna bring him up. I'm like, oh, why'd you stop rapping? But you and Keon, right? When y'all started rapping, when I was like, y'all rap, I was like, oh, this is dope. Like both y'all's music, I like, that's the shit. Like I was like,
I told this nigga TC to stop rapping so these niggas could have a bigger lane to keep rapping. So it was like I had to, because
yeah, man, and it's like we all was like figuring it out at the same time. I remember the first time Key started rapping, and we used to be like me, him, and Chad. Like when we used to smoke in the bathroom when we went to the dorm off campus in Marlboro, and bro, we would just break down Drake lyrics and Hove lyrics all day and trade verses back and forth. And I remember all those times, man, and like that's where I kind of like got the passion, because I used to write music, and I dropped my first project in like, you know, I dropped my first project in 2010, but I really started writing music, like as far as like writing verses and stuff like that, maybe around like 2005, but I had never put nothing out official. So like all those years, it's kind of like me just experimenting and just sharpening my pen. And by the time I got out of college, like I was like, all right, let me try to get this thing a go.
Yeah, man. And I think that's super dope. Also, it's just like, it's also a testament to how when you start something, people don't notice it until like it's good. Right. And you're just like, oh shit. Like, cause you say, I didn't even know you dropped a project in 2010. I knew you was rapping, but like I thought you started rapping in 2000. Like you said you started writing in 2005. I didn't even know that. I just assumed you started rapping like, I don't know, 2012, 2013 and shit, when Keon was out here doing it. But like hearing that is just like, it's a testament. And like, I think as an artist, it's humbling to be like, yo, people aren't gonna notice until you make them notice, until you start like really showing that shit. And it's like, it's hard to explain, but it's like, it's good that I'm just happy that you're one of the people that persevered and kept going. Because I remember for me, it was like, I was like, hey everybody, I am a stand-up comedian now. Excuse me. Yes. Address me as such. And everyone was like, okay. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Whatever. Come on now. And then it's like, just so like just that going through that shit is just so crazy. Oh, and the third nigga who was rapping, who stopped rapping, I'm looking at the camera. He might not see this because he has a job and a family and he's happy. Fucking Jerome, bro. Jerome was nice.
Yo.
Jerome was nice.
You know what's crazy about Jerome, right?
What?
He's back in it. He's about to drop a new project soon.
What?
Single soon.
Dog, I remember because like I remember back in the day when I met Jerome, he was just like, I don't want to say he had money like that, not to blow a spot, but I remember his album came out and it was like he had his own, the cover of it. What was it, The Fall of Rome or some shit?
Nah, Rome doing all right. We gonna put it like that. Rome, all right.
Yeah, bro. Shout out to Rome, bro. That's
my man, yo.
I remember I met him in some class, I forget, some bullshit class, and he was just like, yeah, I'm from Brockton, and he was just like, hey, he was nice, bro.
Yeah, Rome's tough, man. And the funny thing about music is like you gotta go through those moments, and that's where you persevere. Like I went through the same thing. Like it starts off as a reaction, like, oh, you can rap, so it's like, oh, all right, you're cool, you can put words together, and then it's like the next step is like, oh, all right, well that song's kind of cool. Okay, so you're a rapper. Now it's like, all right, they're calling you a rapper because you can make some songs. But then where I'm at now, the reactions I'm getting to the music now, it's like I feel like my ability as a rapper and my ability to make songs have aligned at the right moment. So the project that I've done now, the reactions I'm getting is like, oh nah, this might be something that people are gonna hear. Like this is something that might go somewhere. So that's the testament to the growth, you know what I mean? And those are the reactions that I kind of look for. Like, so I always appreciate the feedback, but seeing the different reactions at the different stages in my career, that's where you know you're trending in the right direction or you're making progress upward. You know what I mean? All
right, I feel that. I gotta ask you this, because I know for me, like I think the comics journey is actually very parallel, very similar to that, in the sense of like people are like, oh, you want to be a comic? Like, oh, you want to be a comic? All right, whatever. And they're like, oh, you can make some jokes. That's cool. And now people are calling you a comedian. Like, this is my friend. He's a comedian. And it's just like, right. And one day everyone was just like, yo, I see what you're doing now, and it's so blah 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 blah. Like, I gotta ask, like, how do you feel when people start saying, like, it almost sounds backhanded when they're just like, yo, you put like, yo, what you're doing right now is so dope, and it's just like, I never thought I was trash, bro. It's just like I was just developing. Like because to me, it's like I never felt like, oh, I'm a bad comic. You probably felt. Did you ever feel like, oh, I'm a bad rapper right now? Or you're just like, yo, I'm having a good time. I'm doing the best I can right now.
So for me, I kind of like, it makes me chuckle and laugh because, like you said, it's a situation where it's like I always thought I was nice, but I'm realistic enough and I'm not naive enough to think I was as good as I am now. Then, as far as my songwriting ability, I know there were some things I need to be polished, but the sound at that time, it may sound good to you. You know what I'm saying? And you have to go through making a lot of bad records. Like when I moved to Atlanta after college, you know, of course, like anybody else will say, oh, I want to go there, I'm going to blow up, I'm going to be a huge rapper. As soon as I get in the car, I'm in DC. I'm like, yo, I don't even have a single. Like, I don't even have a single. I'm halfway to Georgia. I done already quit my job in Massachusetts. Like, it's over. Ain't no turning back. I can't turn around and go home. It's over. And I don't even have a record. I'm talking about I'm going to go out here and be a big rapper. So fast forward, like, you know, I'm a busboy. I'm working at a restaurant in the Hilton downtown. But at the same time, those 2 years I was out there pretty much changed my entire life.
Yeah, man.
I learned so much from music, just from like a performance standpoint, seeing people that are local artists, but are like commanding the stage, killing shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I remember the first visit I went down there, I seen this kid, Young Licks, perform, you know, in East Atlanta, had the crowd going crazy. You know what I'm saying? There's like local celebrities in there, like rocking him. He's killing shit. And he's like not like a superstar at the time. He's like a local star. Next day, I see him working in Lids. 2 weeks later, he's on BT.
Yeah, that's comedy too. That's the same shit, especially in New York, where it's like you'll see somebody kill, like crush, and then you'll see them the next day, like, yeah, I deliver Postmates, or like I move out, or like I'm a mover, and then a week or two later, you see him on Comedy Central, and you're just like, yeah, and like, oh shit. But then like the thing is, it's crazy. You see him on Comedy Central, then like a couple weeks later, you see him back moving again.
Right.
That's it.
And what people don't remember is that all the work they put in to get there, and like it's okay to still live your real life while still pursuing your dreams. And I think that's something that people just came around to maybe in the last like 3 years. Like they don't expect people to just be like, you don't have to be you don't have to put your job and like say you're putting your all into your music to feel like you're chasing your dream. Like, no, like you can keep your day job. Like I still work right now. And that's the fun, not only my family, but what I'm doing with music.
Yeah.
And it's totally fun.
Yeah, I had a comedy mentor back in the day who, like, because I used to be like one of those, I gotta do this at a third. So I was like, I have to graduate from school and I didn't want to do that shit. Because I was like, I'm just gonna drop out and do comedy, fuck everything. And then my mentor at the time was just like, bro, the thing about the arts is that it'll always be there. And you gotta start thinking about like how much you care about this shit, really. Like, do you care are you caring because you're about to drop everything to do it? Or are you caring more because you're about to work harder to fund it so you can do it the best? And you're not moving into places like, you're not moving desperate. Because I know a bunch of comics that like they do this shit, but the way they live is just like they live in a way that all they have is this. Mm-hmm. So then when last year happened, it was like chaos. They didn't know what the fuck to do. Mm-hmm. So you got people who are like, you know, middle of the pandemic outside telling jokes, shivering because it's just like, this is all I have. If I don't do this, it's like, no. So it's like learn how to be a person, be an adult, and live a life and have experience, and then so that gives you something to talk about. That's where art comes from. It doesn't come from just isolating yourself in this one thing. You can't make art, or you can't. I don't think you can make really great art isolating yourself in the art. You have to live a full life.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said that, because that goes into a lot of how I record and do my projects. Like I remember watching the Kendrick Lamar interview, and Jay-Z mentioned this before too. It's like, yo, when you get my project, those are pretty much the songs I recorded. Like they're not hoarding 100 songs for one project and then cutting it down. You know what I'm saying? Like they live life, and then when they're inspired and, you know, they feel the need to create, that's when they do it. And that's how all my projects have been. You know what I'm saying? I've had to experience life and just even remembering things, because I'm tapping into a lot. Like when you listen to my music, like I don't spare the details.
You don't?
Aside from leaving some names out just for like, you know, some people are still active in some things. So, you know, I got to leave some names out for a lot of the stuff. But other than that, like I'm pretty detailed. And a lot of that stuff, man, it's not easy to tap back into. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, for sure. I got that.
I gotta live, man, and that's like the best time. And like when I'm into a project, I'm immersed into it. Like my family will tell you, like, you know, I'm recording like 2, 3 in the morning after work, and you know, recording back-to-back nights because I got to get it out because I'm in the groove, I'm in the zone. So it's something I don't really control, man. I give faith up above, man, because I feel like I'm just putting the pen to the paper, but I feel like it was already written, especially the way this project came together and just a lot of things, the way things are aligning. Like that's why I do it, because I think that's my thing. Like I've always been somebody that's been able to be great or stand out what I was doing, whether it was basketball or.
Yeah, I remember basketball. I remember hit a game winner at school and everyone went crazy.
Yeah, the highlight of my life, man. Like that was just me. That was just me showing I can do it on that level in college. Like I didn't play as much in high school, you know, as much as I thought I should have. So my push and my drive was always like, yo, everybody knew I was one of the best in the city. People would tell me that all the time. I would show it on the summer circuit, but I just didn't get my opportunity during high school basketball. So I was like, when I got to college, I'm gonna show I could play at a high level, and I was able to do that. And I'm always able to end up standing out in everything I do. So when it came to music, I'm just like, yo, I think this is something I was really given a gift for. I didn't take it where I should have with basketball, where I thought about going overseas, but in my heart, I didn't really want to go. And I knew I had finished what I needed to finish with basketball after my senior year. After I played in the All-Star game, you know, for seniors in New England, I was like, I felt it. I was like, yo, this is it.
That's real. And you know what, man, I'm glad you said a lot of that, because like, I think sometimes we have this, we're all told this idea of like, you got to pursue your first passion or until the end. And it's just like, sometimes it's just like, bro, you have to do the shit you want to do and not what people tell, like not what you think you're supposed to do. Because there's some people I know, some people out there probably right now who are playing basketball at the highest level who hate the shit and they're fucking miserable.
Absolutely. And it happens all the time, every day.
Yeah, and you can tell because a lot of basketball players become rappers. That's how you know somebody hate, like, all right, you can tell somebody hates their job when they randomly become a rapper somewhere. Like I've seen mad porn stars become rappers and I'm like, come on now, nigga.
Right.
Right. You see mad porn stars.
You got dildo bars.
Yeah. You see people like, I fuck mad bitches. Yeah, we know, bro.
That's why I know.
Yeah, that's it. What the fuck are you rapping about? Like,
I seen you.
Yeah, it's like, bro. So now you can't even get real. Talk about the sad days in your life. You can't be like, yeah, shit was hard growing up. Like, damn, this thing's doing porn because you got molested. Like, you don't want to hear that shit, bro. Right. Don't rap. Like, I don't need to. Like, yo, I seen mad porn stars just be rapping. Don't rap, dog. Don't rap. Yeah. I don't want to see your, like, I don't want to know you. I don't want to know.
Right. I don't
need to hear your voice outside of the context.
Yeah, I didn't hear your voice then, nigga.
No disrespect. I'm sure you a good person. I'm sure you got a great story, but I ain't interested about nothing about your personal life.
Nah, bro. Like, there's that one porn star nigga that always has like the knee pads on. I'm just like, damn, like. And we all know who he is, and it's just like it happened. Like it happened out of nowhere. And I remember like it happened out of nowhere, and I was just, what happened to his knees? Listen, now I gotta care about your knee health, nigga. That's fuck. I don't want to care about you, dog.
I'm not here to check up on you.
Like I mean, like, and also I'm not saying that in a way. I mean, like you know, you're a male porn. I don't need to know you. I don't need to see your face. It's like, yeah, you're getting money. That's cool. That's what's up.
It's like I don't want to know nothing about you. Like don't tell me any intricate details. Like I'm really not even trying to envision you. Like
I'm watching you because of all the porn star niggas. You look the most like me, in my opinion. So I can kind of imagine that's me in there when I'm watching you. Because now that I know I'm watching you, then I'm just watching another dude. That's fucking creepy shit. I don't want to watch.
Yeah, you gotta mind trick yourself, bro.
Yeah,
that's why I keep it a buck, man. I try to keep it to the girl on girl, my nigga.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I've tried that, but I'll be watching that and I'll be like, all right, so how's it over, bro? At least when it's a dude and a chick, it's like you know when it's over. When it's just like, all right. somebody nutted. That's it. But when it's girl on girl, it's just like they both kind of just like sigh really deep, and that's the end of it. It's like, oh, that was fun.
You gotta get the quality search up, T. Yo, listen, man. They more into it sensual, dog, and it's just like with the girls, man. It's like, yo, you feel the passion, bro. You can see that.
Oh, I'm not. This is what I did actually. I started watching porn directed or made for women. And so it could be male and woman or whatever. But it's still just like it's directed for, and it's right. That shit's way better.
Right.
Because now you're sitting there like you're watching like, all right, this feels like it can happen. Because you watch some pornos, it's just like, hi, I'm a plumber. And it's like, really? I was like, all right, I don't want to do this. Now he's just like fucking railing her. You're like, that's not. I try to watch.
The storylines is fire too. If we keep it at 1,000
storylines, the one I've been watching is the female main shit. They have their storyline is just like it's like, hey, so they talk to the performers. They're just like, all right, so why do you want to work with this person? And they break down the reasons why they like the person about to have sex with, and it makes it better.
Facts.
I'm like, oh, this is that because you're a human. Because this is human being. Instead of being like, oh, I just want to see random. Like you want a good story that makes you. Yeah. What you gonna say?
Also, they're not known for their acting. So if they're genuinely be like, hey, I wanted to be with this person, you know what I'm saying? It's not like I can't take you on the field trip, Jeremy.
Right. Them shits from like the early 90s. It's like, oh, terrible.
Bro, I saw one that like it was so funny because there's one porn star nigga I like because he reminds me because he's like my same skin color and he's awkward as fuck. So I'm just like, all right, that's me right there, bro. So like the porno video was just like he was just like, yo, excuse me, like, hey, where's my son? And the babysitter's just like, I don't know where your son is. I'm so sorry. And he's like, you lost my son. And she's like, yo, calm down. And she's saying all this, like, let me just relax. Let me relax. She starts taking her clothes off and shit, right? And he just looks down and he's just like, I just want my son back, dog. And the way he said it was so real.
And she started wilding, right?
She started wilding. I was like, dog, where's his son?
Like, why that shit don't happen to me? Right?
Yeah. I never had my son. I never had that shit. That needs to happen. Yo, what the fuck?
Yo, I wonder how many like press conferences for missing children. The father's sitting there like, is she coming? Is she going?
Yeah. Oh shit! Oh shit! My son's missing.
He's still missing.
Shit.
Like, he unbuckling his belt. Like,
what I've been thinking about though, speaking of that, I thought about this shit. I was like, yo, because we all remember Bang Bus and shit. How many white vans are just driving around Florida, just being like, oh shit, like, what's going on? Because that was in Bang Bus. They were like, yo, we got the bus, we got the van. You need a ride? That I feel like dudes probably did that shit because dudes are stupid.
Listen, I don't know if you're gonna see this, but my neighbor got one, so I was like, yo.
I know what you're doing in there.
I'm gonna keep it a beam, like, hey man, we scarred, man. You see a plain white van, man. I need a label or something. Like I
need a reason. Why do you have this?
I need a company on the side.
Yeah, it's like I was like, oh, I bought this because the only other car I have is a black Crown Victoria. Like, dog.
Yeah, that's like the people who had the cop cars, the Fords. It's like, yeah, that's the only one you found and seen. Like, why are you doing this? Yeah, that should be crazy, bro.
I knew a white kid in high school who was trapping or whatever, but he was like, he had the black Crown Vic with the blue lights on it. And he was like, yeah. And it was a cool car, but at the same time, like sometimes I just speed behind people and I watch them panic, and I'm just like, all right, you're a monster.
Bro, I see people do that, and I got like I got a Chevy truck, I got an Equinox, bro, and I see people bugging out behind me. I'm like, damn, y'all just nervous, y'all just scared now. Stop trapping.
The scariest shit I ever seen was like I saw what you call it, like a Nissan minivan or whatever, right? I saw a Nissan minivan. And it was two cops in the front seat, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I didn't even know they could do that. Shit scared the shit out of me.
Oh yeah, man, it's crazy, man. I remember to go into those. I remember I got stopped like a year and a half ago, bro. This was like kind of like my first experience, like after everything that was going on.
Yeah.
So I work till 12:30, so I get off. And this is before COVID, so I'm coming from the office. And I'm on 95, so like I live in Delaware, So our highway is 95, which is essentially probably the most popular and busiest highway in the United States. So I'm driving down, and then I don't think I had my plates yet because I just got the car. So cop pulls me over, whatever, Stady. And I remember when I pulled over, bro, just being shook, dog. I couldn't even explain it. It's crazy. I haven't been pulled over by police before, but just with everything going on, I was shook, bro. And I remember he was like, "Oh, you're speeding," and it's like, "Yo, I got an electric dash here." I was like, "I was in the speed limit. You've been following me for like 3 miles, this and that." So of course he ended up letting me go because he's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "Yo, I got my badge on from work still. I got a collar shirt on. I got my badge on still. Like, I got my work jacket on." I'm like, "Dog, one more. Like, I'm coming from work." You know what I'm saying? But it was just like one of those moments, man. It's just like, it's crazy because you kind of, you don't want to be in that space as a black man. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. That shit's scary. I remember one time in Framingham, I was with my homie Shiz, and we was like driving around from party to party, and we pulled over. And when we pulled over, there's cop cars in front of us, and we pulled over, turned the lights off. Just regular shit. And the cop hops out the car, pulls out his flashlight, and walks over to the car, and is just like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" Da, da, da. And he makes my boy get out the car, and he pulls a gun on him. And he's like, "I'll blow your brains out right now." I'm like, "Sir, da da da." And he's like, "All right." He lets us go, and we start driving away, right? And now we're sitting in the car, just mad quiet. And my boy's like, "Yo," I'm like, "What up?" He's like, "Yo, I don't think you realize that there's a whole ounce in the car right now. There's an ounce in the dashboard right now." And we started dying laughing like, "This fucking dumbass." Like, you could have arrested us, but you were fucking racist. That's you fucking asshole.
That's it.
We started rolling. We was dying laughing like, "Yo, we just beat these niggas."
Yeah, man, and those moments, man. You just kind of like, you just glad you could laugh about it later, man.
Yeah, man.
That's it, and that's why we do. Like, it's not that we don't care. We laugh because we know where it can go.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%, bro. I really think that that's a part of the immigrant or just black experience, especially where it's just like, or just anybody who's been through a lot of trauma, just like you can laugh at anything. Like, it's because that's what got me through. That's what gets you through and shit. And like, for example, I bring it up on a lot of the podcasts. I don't know if you noticed, but like I had an ex who had cancer. She passed away, and that was unfortunate. But it's like, I remember while it was happening, like we talk and we'd still like, we just laugh about stupid. We'd laugh about shit like that. Or like after back, I still like laugh about a lot of shit she said. Like one thing she said that I can always gauge how somebody is by just one thing. Because I remember that, like last time I saw her, right, it was Martin Luther King Day 2020, and she had like a month left to live or whatever. And we're talking. She's like, "I just want you to know that like you were the love of my life." And I was like, "Damn." And she was like, "Yeah, but the thing is that my boyfriend before you cheated on me, and the boyfriend after you broke up with me in a text message. So you kind of just win by default." And I was just like, "Oh shit." And that was so funny because like I'm dying. So like yeah.
So it's one of those moments. It's like, it's funny because it's like, if you're in a position where you can be comfortable enough to accept what's going on,
yeah,
you have no problem being 100% truthful.
Exactly. That's what it is. I think it's just like, yeah, and just said before, we know exactly what's happening with all this shit. But it's like we can laugh and talk about this shit. And like I'm not gonna. Some people probably can't. I mean, I get that, and I'm not gonna judge them for that. But sometimes you can laugh at certain shit. Like I remember I was at work and I said something that was this might be bad, but it was so funny because you're just talking about all like the black, like you go on like Amazon or whatever. It's always like, "Oh shit, the black movies." It's always some sad shit. It's always like 12 Years a Slave. We're like Selma. It's never like some happy shit. And it's like, yo, happy shit happened during the sad shit. I was like, yo, what if we made like Friday, but during slavery?
Yo.
That shit to me is so. It's like,
yo, wait.
I don't know if we have to edit that. But I get
no, we're not. Because like I saw a friend of mine. We was talking about this shit. It's like, all right, let's keep it a bean, right?
Wait. You gotta let the rest of us. I know that's a thought you've had before. You gotta let the rest of us just sit. Just have it for,
Yo, so like the Friday version during slavery. So like,
all right, think about this shit.
Every
right?
time I'm in the house, you in the house.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
every time you making a lemonade, you making a lemonade. When you get so
I
close,
want some days off.
when you get so close to master, huh?
Oh shit.
Dog, it's Friday.
That's your ass, Harriet Tubman.
All right, that's it. But it's like I don't know. I'm so good. But like even
Shit.
you watch like even the Boondocks, right? Story Catcher Freeman, all right?
Mhm.
That is a funny story about slavery.
Absolutely.
Like this, at the very beginning when they're whooping Tobias's ass, like no man, we don't want to go. It's like and they're just laughing, like, and I feel like all right. I'm not saying that it was. What I mean is, it's like we're going through something traumatic, and to get our people, we know this shit. To get through shit, we have to find we have to find some way to have hope. And for 400, like for you're in slavery, like people in slavery for generations, you had to have some sort of hope beyond just like this is bad. Like they weren't waking up every day, be like, all right, today's the day I leave. Like, all right, fuck, this is what I was born into. I'm probably gonna die into. How do I live my fucking life? I'm gonna find a way.
Right. And the reason why that's a good point, because it's like we're being legitimate and we're being realistic here, right? As bad as slavery was, we're gonna sit here and be naive enough to say that they didn't laugh and smile no day at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like they never had one day where, as a community, you know, regardless of their circumstances, where they didn't come together and laugh and sing. Where did Negro spirituals come from?
Yeah, where did jumping the broom come from, bro? Like people, right. Like they found a way to live their lives and shit. And I think that like honestly, that's why even when I watch Hollywood movies about like any sort of oppression, slavery, whatever, it's always kind of just like I know it's made for white people because it's always like at the end of the movie, everything's over. It's like, hey, you're free now. We did it. It's like, no, that's not the reality of the situation. Like this was a long period of time, and you can't just save yourselves from being like, oh, it was awful, but it's over. Like, no, it didn't end for a lot of people. Like that's why Steven Spielberg, I fuck with him because at the end of Amistad, right? Because Amistad was so depressing because it was just like, all right, the dude fucking got on a ship home. Someone's got a bus home. He got on the ship home, and then the afterwards was like, yo, he got back to his village and found out most of his family was enslaved. And it's like, damn, that fucking sucks. Yeah, it sucks. That's what fucking happened. Now, where do we go from here? Let's be honest. You gotta be honest. Let's be your open, honest, vulnerable selves, and then we can move forward. But right now, people are just like, no, it wasn't that bad. Or even today, with the fucking like, what you call it, the British royals, who are all just like, all right, we're not racist. Like, yes, the fuck you are. Just say it. Like, yeah, just say it. We already know.
It's like that shit, yo.
We can't.
Be honest on this. We're gonna be honest on this pod. People who say they aren't racist are full of the most shit than anybody in the world. It's like that's like the most ridiculous thing to say. That's like saying black people don't run sports.
Yeah.
Like if you're in a situation where you're so bent up on equality, where you don't say like we run sports and we're pretty much the majority in all the sports for the most part, except for like maybe like hockey and whatnot. But it's like if you're still denying like, hey, black people love basketball. It's like, yo, where are we at? Like, we gotta be realistic.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You gotta be realistic. Also, like, I don't think anybody who owns Fabergé eggs isn't racist. Like, you have to be racist. You can't. Like, that's part of it. You can't be not racist and own a Fabergé egg. Get the fuck out of here.
The racism comes with it.
Is it?
Right.
It comes with a certificate of racism.
Bro, it's like being a Republican. That's why we need to get rid of parties, because it's like it's almost impossible just from the historical makeup and the foundation of what it means to be a Republican. Bro, it's rooted in being prejudiced towards black people. So it's like you can say you have all the black friends in the world, you can donate to black charities, but at the end of the day, as far as we have these parties, you're Republican, we're gonna view you as being against black people.
Bro, what's so crazy is I have a friend who's like from college. I'll tell you the name after the fact, but like he is full Republican, like Fox News, all that shit. And then like I'll talk to him on the phone and shit. And the voice of the amount of love and respect for me he has is so pure and open. And I was like, what's going on? Then one day I told him, like, I was like, yo, I got a job, I'm making this. And immediately when he heard that, he's like, all right, let me hear all the secret white tricks to making more money. He told me everything. It was like, and then one day, because we were talking about something, he was like, yo, invest in this company. They put satellites in Africa. I was like, wait, satellites in fucking, why do we need satellites in Africa? And he was like, it's probably a bad reason, but why shouldn't you and your family make money off of this? It's going to happen anyway. And I was like, that's a callous way of viewing the world. But he was like, I'm trying to get you some money, bro.
So this is a great point, and I'm glad you brought that up. So this is a great point about that. And this is what I tried to teach people from where I was from that was kind of like stuck in an urban mentality. So to try to make a long story short as quick as possible, when I was a junior in high school, right, my close group of friends was my boy Brandon, my boy Josiah, my boy Jimmy, my boy Bobby, my closest group of friends, right? So they kind of had made a decision where they wanted to infiltrate the white crowd in high school, so to speak. So they started going to, this is the first time we heard of kickbacks.
Yeah.
You know, they started going to those parties, those type of parties, and, you know, chilling with some of the females and just kind of learning how to navigate that world. So I remember I wasn't chilling with them for a while because I had lived in Pennsylvania for 2 years I moved there when I was 10. So
Yeah.
when I first moved there, the first 6 months we lived in this place called Collingdale. And this was the first time I had racism smack me in my face. We were the only black family in the town. Like, and I'm talking about like old school ignorant racists, like people on the football. I played pop on the football, and I got young white kids asking me like, yo, when you guys fart, is it green? Like ridiculous stuff like that.
Yeah, he would ask like, right, yeah.
Like, do you guys eat fried chicken every night? Like ridiculous questions. You know what I'm saying? So that was the first time I dealt with it, like right in my face. And I remember I had this picture of the Pop Warner team, and I fought every kid on the team except for one. You know what I'm saying? So it was like one of those scenarios. Like, so I didn't really take in well to white people after that. I didn't really like hang around them. I kind of judged black people that chill with white people. It was like I was really kind of like misinformed just on everything in total. I just went off this experience and kind of like, I was like, I'm good. So then when my homies started chilling with them and I didn't really have the connection I did, I remember I told them, I talked to them. I was like, yo, I miss hanging out with y'all. Let me try to figure this out and I want to start coming to these parties. I want to start hanging out too. So what helped me out with that was that I learned how to assimilate and how to understand their thinking and the way they move and why they be so apprehensive towards black people. Because I remember for a while, I was getting a rep as the angry black kid and always wanted to fight because every time I felt a white dude was kind of like testing me or like going out the line, I'm blacking.
Yeah.
I'm blacking. But then I kind of learned how to move. So when I got to Framingham, I knew how to deal with it. I knew how to navigate. And what you learn from that is you start learning quality of life. You start meeting people whose parents are in the finance business or working in the medical business. You start learning little things about stocks, all that little stuff. I remember I was dealing with a shorty from Native, and that was the first time I had seen a check written for like $150,000.
I still haven't seen that shit.
And just like experiencing, I remember she lived in a cul-de-sac, had like $1 million crib. Like that was like my first kind of like introduction to that. And like, I just started having homies from basketball and I just kind of started learning the life. Yeah. And that experience was huge for me where I am now because it brought my mind outside of where we're from.
Yeah. I agree. I can concur with that. The amount of shit that I've seen because of that is always like I had a crew of white friends in college and they showed me a lot of shit. But what's funny is like I would show them the little shit because they show you shit that in their mind they knew like this is a big deal. Check this out. Then you show them little shit and they'd be like, what the fuck? Like I remember one time I was talking and I said like I was cheesing that hard. They're like, wait, what does that mean? And I was like, cheesing, like you're smiling, like you say cheesing. And you're like, oh, cheesing. Huh? And they're like, and they couldn't believe that this little slang existed.
Yeah.
And it's just like this shit we just do, like this shit, like it's like the grand shit that they can do is like, oh my god, but then it's like the shit that we just do just on a regular basis, being like, oh, I noticed how like your shoes match your hat, which matches your shirt. Like, yeah, it's not hard. Yeah, right. I just thought colors work.
Right. I remember my boy Bobby, bro. He had the first time I met my boy Bobby. He's from West Bridgewater, super white town.
Yeah.
But he was a hooper, and he used to come to Brockton. He played in this summer league, and like, so I ended up playing AAU and getting tight with him. I remember I clowned him the first time I went to his crib because his closet was full of like Hollister and American Eagle. And I remember I just clowned him because of that. And then over time, I can just kind of see like my influence rubbing off on him, but also it was a situation where he taught me how to move. So it's like, bro, if I'm going on like vacation and I'm in like Costa Rica or something, it's like, bro, you shouldn't be wearing a champ hoodie and like, you're
wearing a champ with the point.
Some 40 jeans, some 40-inch jeans, 40-inch waist jeans. Like,
yeah.
Like he taught me how to like, get fly with the polo boat shoes and like, nice little Tommy Hill polo, like, and just kind of like introducing to me to life as far as like having good credit. And, that came from me wanting to be able to pull my own weight. Cause these homies, like, thank God they just love me for me. Like,
yeah,
as much as, my homies from the hood to do whatever for me, like these dudes I done been in brawls with them too. And they didn't show me a different part of life and making me wanting to upgrade my lifestyle. So like when I be telling my story, when I explain to people, like it's important to understand that all of that comes into play. It really don't matter. You know what I mean? And that's why I kind of like get pissed off when so-called street people kind of like look at people who weren't necessarily like out there shooting or killing or, selling kilos that they ain't as real. When I came up in the same neighborhood and I seen all the same stuff you did.
Yeah.
Like, ain't nothing that's surprise or new to me. You know what I mean? I was just able to kind of like take my mind somewhere else and see other things, that people kind of like keep themselves from and being able to experience. Like some people in their life will never see California, and that's
never. Yeah, that's wild as shit. Like I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that the other day. Some people are like, this is my hometown. I will live here. I'll have a whole life here, and I will die here. And I was like, how does that even work?
California might as well be China. It might as well be other country. It's that far away because like if you were to drive there, it would take you like a week. And if the flight alone is like 7 hours, 6.5 hours or whatever. Yeah. So it's like. It's like the other side of the world to a lot of people. So like,
that's what's crazy though. You said it though. It's just like, yeah, you said if you fly there, it's 7 hours. If you drive there, it's a week. In the grand scheme of time, that's not mad time. That's like a week, right. like literally legit. Like if I was like, oh, I'd be in California in a week. It used to take people like months. People would remember back in the day, Oregon Trail shit. We all played that game where it was like, yo, you had to fucking take a whole family. People would die. Like they'd just be knocked off. Like what happened?
Bro, I remember the early 2000s. It would take for sure 4.5 hours, almost 5, to drive to New York. You can get to New York in like 3 hours. I don't know what happened with the traffic or what, but like you said, back in the days, traveling so like super long. I remember, like you said, if you heard somebody driving to California, it took about a month.
Yeah, it took them forever. Like they didn't know what was gonna happen, but then it's just like, man. That megabus ride got so that shit got so easy. That's one of the first things that like always shook me. We talked about this with our guest Monroe a few months back, but it was like that megabus ride into New York is always something special, like, every single time. But it was also like at first it felt like it was the longest ride in the world, but then by one point it was like, all right, word. If you got the fucking seat, if you got a whole seat to yourself, and you can charge your phone. Then you lit. You lit.
And I started figuring out, yo, bro, that's the crazy thing about the mega bus, right? You start kind of learning the tricks of the trade, right?
Yep.
You want to try to book it as early as possible, just so you can get that cheap bus. But then when you get there, you want to get on a lower level. Everybody runs to the top, bro. Everybody runs to the top. They either run to that front seat so they get the window, or they run to the back. Everybody's trying to fill up the top seats. So if you get in the front, usually that first seat right by the bathroom.
Yeah.
That's the seat that's usually left open.
Yeah.
Those seats with the tables, those are always reserved early. So if you grab the one seat by the bathroom, people try to act like they don't want to sit there, but it's like, number one, you got the quick access to the bathroom, you got the aisle right there, and when the bus stops, you probably one of the first off.
Yeah.
So like, I always used to get seats to myself, messing with that seat or the one seat right there that's by the door, because nobody want to be cold when you stop and the door open.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how it's just like, you realize it because you're like, yo, no matter what, we're on the fucking bus. What do you need a table for? You're on a bus.
Right.
You're on the bus. I don't want to be cold. Oh, I don't want to be cold. Like, dog, we're on a bus.
Right. And nobody's eating. Nobody's really eating. There's usually one stop. If you're coming from Mass or New York, there's usually one stop and nobody's eating. So it's like, you're not really missing nothing. You know what I'm saying? They
changed it in 2018. When I was taking it, it was like, we stopped at a Burger King, we stopped at McDonald's, we stopped at a whole food court one time. I was like, yo, what happened? I was like, what happened? Like, yo, you have 30 minutes. I was like, wait, what? Yeah, It used to be like, all right, we're stopping for 2 minutes, and if you're not back in 1.5 minutes, you're not getting back on. That's it.
Right. I remember the first time I took the Megabus, right? So this is another dope story, and like kind of like my progression in music. So I remember I had just moved back from Atlanta, and so I'm on Twitter one day, and Illmind, you know the producer Illmind?
Yeah.
All right, so Illmind, this is when he was working on this human project with Joel Ortiz. So he did this like giveaway, whatever, where it's like, you had to text this number, and it was like the first, I think, like 10 people, you would be able to go into a private studio session where Joel Ortiz records a song on the spot, and they talk about the human project.
All right.
So he posted the number you have to text on Twitter, and the tweet had been up for like 8 minutes. So I'm like, it's over. So I'm like, let me just text it, whatever.
Yeah.
Shot in the dark.
Yeah. Text
the number, nigga. I get the text back. I start bugging. I'm like, how? So this is all a part of like my mind, where I'm like, all right, this is in the greater scheme of things, where it's like it's already written. Because I'm like, anybody knows if there's a contest or somewhere entry where you gotta, after like 2 minutes, it's over.
Yeah, somebody got that.
It's over, and it's Illmind. Like, he's not like an underground producer, so I'm like, that's crazy. So I ended up getting in, and I remember I had to book a bus ticket for the very next day because it was in New York and it was the next day. So I remember I got on the bus, I ended up going, and what was so dope about the experience is that everything that Joel Ortiz and Illmind said reinforced exactly what I was thinking.
That's the dopest shit.
That's what was so dope, because Illmind was he was just saying things like, yo, the best way to kind of like do your sound and work with producer is like, yo, just link with them and just like build something organically. Like, don't make it about music. He said when he first linked with Joel, the first 3 days, they just went out and had lunch and just ate and just talked.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't record anything the first 3 days. And then he was like, you know, they were able to just build the sound, and that ended up turning into an album. And then I remember I asked Joel Ortiz, I was like, yo, how do you handle, you know, being, I think he was 33 or 34 at the time. I was like, how do you handle being that age as a rapper and people who may kind of like look at you as being old? And he was just like, yo, I'm 34 years old and I'm just now figuring myself out. He had just made the House Slippers album.
Yeah.
And he was just working on that. He had just made the House Slippers either right before that, or he was just working on that right after the Human album. And he was like, yo, I'm just figuring myself out. And he was like, the music I'm putting out now is my favorite music that I made, because I finally figured out who I am and what I'm doing in life. And that like really stuck with me. Because,
because
at the time,
important.
at the time I'm like 29. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, am I supposed to still be doing this? Or like, kind of like second guessing myself. And that was all I needed. And you know what I'm saying, after that. And I just remember being in there, the song he ended up recording. This is still on YouTube. I remember I picked the sample, bro.
That's sick.
That's on my son's life. So Illmind's going, he's going through the samples, right? So he starts doing beats or whatever. So he does this one, and then I'm like, I look at Ortiz with the crazy face. I'm like, yo, that's the one right there. And Joel was like, yeah, go back to that other one. He was like, that is the one. He's like, go back to that. So he ended up chopping that sample up. He ended up recording it. And I remember just being there, yo, I was trying to be so strategic. I'm sitting there just mumbling because I had a verse. I had wrote some shit the night before. So I'm just mumbling, just hoping he kind of like noticed, like, yo, just go on the booth. And I always regret it because I feel like I should have just started rapping because it was a perfect setting for that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, like everything I took from that ended up what I put towards the From the East project.
Oh yeah, that's important. That's really important. And what he told you is fantastic. He's 34, he's figuring himself out. Because I don't know, I think there's probably some Illuminati, some shit. There's some reason for this. But society always teaches us that, like, oh, your best creative shit's gonna happen in your early 20s. And it's like, that's not true at all.
And it's only in rap.
Yeah, it's rap.
They don't do this nowhere other else.
No, Billie Eilish is like 18 and like, oh, she's a product. It's like a lot of pop music. Like Britney Spears was 16. It's like in music, it's just like they just love youth. Like in sports too. Like, oh, youth. We love and need youth so much. But it is like you get older and you get into your 30s and you're just like, I don't want a 19-year-old to tell me shit. Like, why the fuck I don't listen to his music. I don't want to hear a fucking 18-year-old talk about his problems. Like, I don't give a shit.
Right. And that's kind of like the happy medium you got to get to, because it's like, in music, in sports, it's like, okay, like, yes, there's a certain age where your abilities leave you and you can't perform at a high level anymore. That's cool. But in music, like, it only happens in rap. They don't do it in no other genre. Do they put an age limit on it? So that's why I'm so glad where rap is where it is now, and people just doing the research and start understanding more. You start realizing people like Rick Ross didn't blow till he was like 30, 31.
2 Chainz.
2 Chainz. 35, I think he was when he soared off. Benny.
All Griselda.
35, 37. I think Westside Gunn might be 38.
Yeah.
Think so. And it's like it don't matter no more. Once, and it's sad, but it's beautiful at the same time. Once Jay-Z dropped 4 for 4, the age limit thing was over.
I feel like even before, I feel like Hov before that, because remember that was Cam's whole thing, is like, yo, Jay-Z, you mad old. Even back at like, what was the project? The WAP before American Gangster.
Before American Gangster, Kingdom Come.
Yeah, Kingdom Come. He was just like, yo, you mad? Oh, he's like, you was born in 19. What did Cameron say? You said you was the 80s baby. You was born in 1967. You 40 years.
He was really born in 1970, I believe. But.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, yeah, but still, it's like by that point, he was like, yeah, he was like Jay-Z. But Jay-Z also kind of was like, he was considered the GOAT. So it was at that point he was established. But these other guys, it's like, oh, they all came out. Everyone was like, who the fuck? Benny he sounds like an old nigga. You watch him rap, he sounds like an old man.
But what's so dope is like, and I think what people are starting to understand, it's like, okay, he's 35, but you know what that means? You believe what he's talking about because he's experienced. Yep,
exactly. You believe everything else because experience. You get this. You say minute details, and people are just like, "Oh, that definitely." He's
not happened. Lying, and that's what's so important. And I remember my boy. Shout out to my boy Brandon. He lives in Cali. He's doing his music thing, and he like works for Google. Like super dope dude with music and just like in life in general. And I remember when we first decided to really pursue rapping, we were probably like 18, 19 years old. He pulled up into the parking lot of my complex. I was living there at the time, and he was just like, yo, we're going to do this music thing, but it's going to be all real. Because when I first started rapping, like actually writing music, which is actually cool to go into. So my first song, I fell in love with music, was Sometimes I rhyme slow, sometimes I rhyme quick. Greg Nice, CL Smooth, Nice and Smooth. That was the first record I can remember as a kid falling in love with music.
Right.
They had the video with the gun spinner on the table. My mom wouldn't let me watch the video because of that. I used to sneak and watch the video.
Yep.
That was my first favorite song, you know what I'm saying? So then what actually got me into physically writing music, I stole this Best of Jadakiss CD from my uncle when I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
First song I heard was this Jadakiss record, I Don't Care, on 60 Minutes of Funk Flex, Volume 1, I believe. And it was Jadakiss record. And I remember I played that, the Best of Jadakiss, the whole weekend.
Shout out to Jada.
I couldn't believe how somebody could rap like that. Yep,
Yo.
you playing it right now?
Yeah.
Turn that up, please.
Yeah. And he's a half whack. Gas that. Blast that. Get your ass capped.
Like, bro, the wittiness in his, I was like, yo, that was the first time I thought somebody rapped better than Biggie and Jay-Z. So before this record, the first record, I was kind of like, oh, this is rapping.
Yeah.
Brooklyn's Finest with Jay-Z and Biggie.
Oh yeah. It's weird. Like, I feel like Jada just had like a clarity. Cause I look at because I love Biggie's probably my own favorite rapper. So is Jay-Z. But it's like sometimes Jay-Z, like early Jay-Z, he would get so caught up in the wittiness that he would lose some clarity. Like, you like the song because he can flow well, he's lyrical, but it's like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. But I get older and I'm like, oh, but Jada
is clicking.
Yeah, Jada back in the day, like Jada from the gate, you're just like, I understand everything.
Out the gate. And Jadakiss, to be totally, and anybody that knows me and tell you, Jay-Z is my god when it comes to rap. But Jadakiss might be the only rapper I can say never had a whack verse.
Yeah, never.
Never.
He's had songs I don't like, but he's never had a bad verse.
Never a whack verse. And that's what, like I said, when I was listening to that Best of Jadakiss, that's what was like, oh, I want to do this now.
Yeah.
That's when it was like, I want to write something on paper now. Like, I want to do this. So when I started writing the music, it got to the point where, is it not showing? My bad, hold up. Gucci?
Yeah, we good.
All right. So yeah, when I started writing music, it got to the point where I'm like, if I'm gonna write, I gotta write it like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what inspired me to put pen to paper, bro. Was Jadakiss, if I could say anything.
All right. Jadakiss, yeah, because Jadakiss is one of the only rappers I know who had like he had mixtapes where it was just like, it was just verse after verse after verse after. If you a 50 track mixtape, it's just all his verses. Yo, Jadakiss he's never had a bad verse to the point that like you can go back and you can watch all of his old Jadakiss and Allen Iverson commercials and just listen to the raps.
Oh my god.
Yo, the Allen Iverson, everybody know, instant classic. Like, it made you buy the shoes and then you like, this is the greatest sneaker commercial ever.
Here's a new A5. You gotta rock him. They even put a zone in the league to try to stop him.
Killed the verse. The beat is crazy. The commercial is fire. The black and white, like,
yeah.
That's what took. I think that's
explain it right now.
Oh, yeah.
And the problem. To take punishment. He's all water. He's like, he got a ball on the string. Out the glass.
All you need is a pair of these, nothing else. Your hesitation is stopping Papa be something
Something
else.
else.
Masters and J to the
Mwah.
I keep an
Keep an
extra
extra
pair
pair in my
car.
I wanna take it to the park.
That's crazy. Yo, Jadakiss had a kill. He's just driving around. You want to play ball? I got shoes in the car right now.
You feel me? Like,
You get the A5s. Then they had the remix when the A6 came out.
the A6. No, listen. You might have to play the A6 one too.
Yeah, we gotta play A6.
I'm gonna keep it tall. You gotta play the A6.
That was a banger. I was like, damn, that was such a good commercial.
There was a time period where they were making crazy rap songs, but like remember the Sprite, like Voltron kind of thing.
I don't know how Sprite became for niggas. I don't know when that happened.
Yo, you know what it was? I'll tell you what it was. It was the Drake Forever commercial.
No, but before that. Yeah, because they
like Busta Rhymes and like I forget who else. I feel like Fat Joe or something. They had like a power type.
You're right.
Also,
you're right.
There's that commercial where it was like, everybody's the commercial like it was yesterday. It was a bald nigga with a beard. I think a turtleneck on. He had groceries in one hand, right? And he walks past the court, and the nigga's like, "Oh, no." He's like, "Oh, hold on, give me the rock." And so he backs nigga down with one hand, still has the groceries. Then hits a shot in the nigga's face, and he walks away, and he drinks a Sprite. And I was like, when did it become like why? Like I know niggas like Sprite, but when did niggas like? When it becomes established, like, niggas like Sprite.
Right. To the point where they're putting money into it. Like,
yeah, because that's weird. Because if I'm being honest, if we talking about, we're gonna keep it talking. We talking about niggas. Like our thing was Pepsi, and Mountain Dew.
I was never a Mountain Dew nigga. I don't know about it. I don't remember Mountain Dew being the shit. Nah, niggas was drinking. You drinking Mountain Dew, nigga?
Trappers drink Mountain Dew. Yo. Trappers drank Mountain Dew, bro. Trappers drank Mountain Dew, and every black family had Pepsi in the crib.
Yeah, niggas would have Pepsi. Niggas had Pepsi.
Everyone
had an auntie.
Mountain Dew because they felt like that Mountain Dew was Red Bull before Red Bull.
Yeah, it was.
That's why.
You telling me Mountain Dew got gentrified? Damn, bro.
Fact.
You see, because it was for niggas, now it's not. But no, it was like, all right.
They should have never got rid of the Code Red. That was a problem.
Dog. I remember the Pepsi Blue. When the Pepsi Blue came out, what did Jay know? Jada had a verse. We mentioned Jada had a verse where he was just like, I got to whip same color as Pepsi Blue. I was
Pepsi Blue was Supreme before Supreme.
Yeah, Pepsi Blue was fine. Yo,
if you found somebody that had Pepsi Blue, you was lit.
Remember Sprite Remix?
Oh my god.
Yo, Sprite Remix was so now, yo. I don't know. That shit's never came back. But I was just like, that's when I was like, all right, this is officially for niggas because who says remix for a soda? Like we remixed this shit.
Right. Sprite remix and those might be the GOATs. Sprite remix and Pepsi Blue. Pepsi Blue was different, bro.
Pepsi. It was cool.
Pepsi Blue was different and it tasted great. It had the berry flavor. Like,
Pepsi
Blue was different.
Pepsi Blue was fun, bro. I fuck with that shit.
Super respectful.
But like, yo, it was just, man, that was a time, bro. When sodas like cared and it was just like, we made the soda for the hood. Now it's just like, you just get a nigga to hold the soda in a commercial. Yeah, this is for you. But it's like, no, we made a drink for you.
Right. And that's what's crazy about nostalgia. That's what's crazy about nostalgia. You remember the oatmeal where you had to put the drizzle on it and then mix it?
Yeah, I remember that shit.
Bro,
damn.
I remember like it was probably like 4 or 5 years ago, bro. I was Googling it to try to order it. That's how bad it was irking me. Cause that was the best oatmeal I've had in my life. Like when it had the syrup drizzle packet, bro, I used to cry when my mom didn't make me enough.
Bro, what's crazy is like you try to find out old shit. Like, why did they stop making this shit? And it's like it turns out there was some cancer in the drizzle, so you can't use it. Yeah, it's like I used to eat Rice Krispie treat cereal. Oh, this is the shit. And I was like, yo, this is awful for you. This is diabetes in a bottle.
That's why they changed it. So when you buy, because they still got Rice Krispie cereal now, but when you buy it, it's just like a sweetened version of the cereal, but remember when you
It was
first
actual,
came out?
it was actual marshmallows.
It was in the clusters. And it was in a light blue box.
Yeah, it was
in
a
the
shit.
clusters, bro.
Yeah, it's not in the clusters no more.
No, dog.
No clusters.
It's just grain by grain.
They ain't no treat. They ain't no treat, bro. That's fucking garbage.
That's a task. That's Rice Krispies tasks. That's not.
Yeah, exactly. That's fucking garbage.
All they do is put extra sugar in a regular Rice Krispie. But I'm like, yo, when this first came out, it was in clusters. It had the light green, bluish, that turquoise box.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it was crazy.
I remember Snap, Crackle, and Popper on the front. Like, yeah, we did that. He was like, oh, yeah, you want it, niggas. They was posed like Boys to Men.
Like, we
yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? So
we make the cereal in the Carter. Make the cereal in the Carter.
There's women, just butt-naked women
with their titties out. Fucking Chris Rock's putting the cereal together, all cracked out.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, you're 5-0. You working with Tony? Oh, you're 5-0.
I'm glad you
be
brought that
calling
up.
me, man. They be calling.
You know what's so crazy about New Jack City, right? The first time I watched that movie, my mom's had it dubbed on a tape with 3 ninjas, bro.
Oh,
so
shit.
when I used to watch that tape, I got New Jack City, and then I got 3 ninjas. My Saturdays was lit,
bro. How you go from the story of like the real crack epidemic, and it's like tragic, and you go to fucking Tum Tum just fighting grown men.
And you know it's why? It's because my stepfather at the time. So my stepfather at the time, he's from Brooklyn. So this is right. So this is a crazy story. At the time, I'm under the impression that this is my real dad.
Mm-hmm.
So, he raised me since I was a kid. He was around since I was born. I'm thinking this is my real dad. So this is my stepdad. He's from New York. So of course, he got New Jack City on a dub. He got a bunch of mixtapes and music that I got into that kind of like really introduced me to rap. I remember he had this video of me freestyling in the basement when I was maybe like 7 years old. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what I was saying, but
you was talking
freestyling like 7. So this is something that he pretty much like kind of introduced me to music, like to everything I'm dealing with, because he's from Bed-Stuy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I'm learning all this stuff from him, and then he's the one that dubbed New Jack City onto the tape, of course, because he's from New York. So like I'm getting introduced to all this stuff, and then I don't understand and realize how this pretty much starts shaping my mindset.
Yeah, it's a heavy ass movie, dog.
Right, and
for a child to watch.
Right, and where I am as a kid, like I'm seeing all this information and all this stuff. Like you see where the crack epidemic came from, and you're seeing where a lot of rap music came from, and you don't have any idea what's going on. So when I'm seeing all this stuff as a kid, as far as from the Hustlers, and, I remember my stepfather got shot in the leg, and they had like this whole fabricated story on what happened, and like
they lied to you?
Understand why they got to do that. So it's like, once I get older and start realizing all this stuff and understanding why I thought certain things were cool or why I looked up to certain people, it kind of just brings it full circle to understanding why. It's because I was exposed to all this information and things that I was seeing that I thought were normal. And that's what people fail to understand. Is like, when you're dealing with these kids from these environments, the reason why they look at it as crazy is because they don't understand why we can understand these things. They don't get why some things may look normal to us, or why we're able to see another perspective. Somebody who's not experienced the drugs and not experienced the violence, they look at it like, oh, they're animals. Why would you ever be around that? And it's like, yo, because I know why he's doing that. I know why he's there.
Yo, when you say that, it's kind of crazy to think, because like I remember for a long time, people were just like, I don't understand it, I don't get it. But then when Breaking Bad came out, I feel like Breaking Bad was kind of like, it was spoon feeding the idea of like how you become a drug dealer. And you're like, oh, because at first everyone was just like, oh, whatever. Da, da, da. Wow, he had to do that. He had to do that. He had. Then you saw it. We all watched it from Walt's perspective. But he had to do this shit, and everyone hated his wife. Like, oh, she's such a bitch, even though she was right, being like, yo, stop selling drugs. You're ruining our family. And everyone was like, oh, she's just a bitch. She was like, yo, you don't have to do this anymore. But he was so caught up in the game, and we was all caught up too. So it was just like, damn. And I think like for us, it was different. Bro, I think for the black community, kind of, because we kind of saw we saw all this shit firsthand, or even like secondhand. Like I remember, for me, I grew up kind of sheltered, but my mom was like, I remember my mom, like I grew up sheltered, but I grew up in a way where my parents were just like, because they're African, they're just like, oh, even you being in this area, you're still gonna absorb this shit, even though if you're not around it. So mom's like, we're gonna scare you straight. Right, all right, Tawanda, me and mom, because my mom was a nurse and her best friend was a nurse. So she had 2 kids. We're going to take you to the hospital and you're going to see the effects of crack because this crackhead got shot in the back of the neck and now he's paralyzed from the neck down. So we had to walk into this room and see this crackhead. So see that? Don't smoke crack. We were 7 years old. So I'm sitting here just like, what? So I'm like, well, why? So I'm like, we didn't, and I look back at it now. I'm just like, I didn't even know what crack was. Why did I need to see this in the hell?
Also, was the crackhead involved? Like, did he know?
He knew, but
that field trip in.
Yeah, there's 3 strange kids. Oh, but also what made it worse is she tried and she failed. So what made it worse is like we walked into the room and I see like the crackhead sitting there leaning back and he's laughing because he has like I think his sisters or whatever, and they brought because we're in Maryland, so they just had mad crab. They were feeding him crab. So it was just mixed messages like, hey, don't smoke crack because you might lay in bed and get fed crab. Yeah, you might get fed crab meat. You could have just told me like, hey, Tawanda, sometimes the world is fucked, the world is messed up, and people do drugs to cope with it. My goal as a parent is to make sure that you're not in the situation. It's like, no, just don't do this. Explain to me why. I want to know why he did this.
And that's super important. And I'm glad you said that, bro, because so with me now, having a son who's about to be 3 in July, I got my stepdaughter, my stepson, she just turned 12, he's 16. So the way me and my lady work is like, we're not really reluctant to expose them to certain things.
Yeah.
Because we want to be able to explain and for them to understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I can understand that certain people might be taken aback or maybe like, yo, why are you doing that? But it's because I don't want them to be surprised or to have questions about certain things. Now, of course, there are certain things they don't need to be exposed to. Like, I'm not going to have them watch like 50 Shades of Grey. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
my stepdaughter has watched episodes on Euphoria.
Mm-hmm.
And what's important to me is that is because like, I don't ever want you to be in a situation out here where you're naive to what may be going on in reality. Like you at that age now, you learn this stuff earlier and we can't prevent it whether we like it or not. You can put as much codes on the streaming services as you want. They're going to get exposed to what they want to get exposed to.
Oh yeah, kids are gonna find that shit out for sure because even the way these sites are set up, like the site is just like, hey, are you 18? Are you sure? Yes. Can you put in your date of birth? And some kids.
Nick, how many times did you click no? I'm not 18.
I did it one time. I did it one time, and the app was. I did it once, and then the app was just like, all right, go back to Google. And then I just pressed reverse, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say yes. Right. But what's crazy, though, is the porn sites, they stopped asking that question. You go to fucking, like, because it used to be like, hey, this is a site for adults only, it'd be that big warning. Then it eventually leads to some shit. You go to Pornhub or X videos right now, you just see booty holes, just like just right, it's everywhere.
That's a great point.
But then what's crazy, though, the crazy part is, because like, all right, so sometimes I like to. I'm older now, so I'm like, when I make it, I don't just drink straight. I'm gonna make a drink. I'm gonna find a recipe. So I'll Google some shit, and it'll take me to an alcohol's website, every alcoholic website is just like, hey, what's your date of birth? And I'm just like, nigga, you can't buy alcohol on a website, period. I gotta be 21 to see the shit. Why you have the security when like I was just on X videos and I saw some things. Like I saw like, oh, I gotta be 20. You have to have proof that I'm over 21 to look at alcohol, but I can lie and say I'm 18 to watch some girl get peed on. Like, come on now, bro. That doesn't make that's ass backwards.
It's crazy. And that's what's so crazy. But I think with as far as being a parent, the parent is as good as they know their kids. And I think just kind of understanding, the kids that we have, like they're super smart, and the best formula for them and for the kind of kids that they are is to understand certain things so they know how to move, because that's the type of kids they are. Like, my stepdaughter Callie, she's like super artistic, super smart, but she's super aggressive. So it's like I got to be realistic with her in the situation, and she's easy on the eyes. So I got to be realistic with her in a situation like, yo, if you're ever in a position where you feel somebody might be trying to take advantage of you, or if you feel like, you're in a position where you're kind of like isolating yourself, I want her to know how to move in those scenarios. Mm-hmm. I want her to understand like these things happen. These are positions you put in when you're growing up, because then she's gonna know how to adjust, because she has that set of intuition, and she has that set of intellect that maybe the average family won't be honest about, because they just want you to be removed from it and they just want you to not experience it. So they want to act like this doesn't exist.
That's real. Yeah, that's 100% true. They want to ignore it instead of just dealing with it, even though you're gonna deal with it eventually. All right, man. So we're wrapping. Unfortunately, we're almost out of time. I just want to ask you this, yo. So what's going on in your life now, and how can I suggest a song for you? Because I'm gonna find you a song. Just talk.
Yeah, man. So now, man, where I'm at in life, like, it's so crazy, man. I'm all about growth, bro. I'm all about progression and just like me working on this new project. It's called Float. The acronym stands for lack of any more tears. And what that means is me just getting to a space where I'm not apologizing for where I'm at now no more. You know what I'm saying? I think for me, being so entrenched on where I came from, I was nervous about changing and in my mindset and seeing new things, because I thought I was losing who I was and everything that I went through to become the person I can be. And what I had to realize, and the tough reality, is that everybody not gonna come. Everybody can't go. And that's not your fault. And it took me a while to understand that. And the message I give to my younger brothers, my family, my uncle, who's like my older brother, these closest people, and just people that I may not communicate on a regular basis, it's always like, yo, I went from worrying about myself to taking care of a family of 5 pretty much overnight. And where I am now, and my focus, I want to show my son, I want to show my kids, my stepson, my stepdaughter, that I do this shit for real. That's what my job, that's what music, with everything I do, I want to show them that I ain't just talk. I want to show them something they ain't used to, so that they strive to reach higher lengths than I was able to go to. So,
all right.
Yeah.
I feel you, and thank you for just eloquating that so well. Now, what I'll say to that is, I totally get that. It's like it's one of those natural occurrences where it's just like, next thing you know, you go from caring about your own wealth to generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? And you start thinking like, all right, I'm living for more than just myself. And that's one of the hardest. That's not one of the hardest things, but it's just like it's one of the most important things in a young person's life, because for so long we're just like, I live for me. I'm gonna live fast. YOLO. When this was saying YOLO, you only live once, all that shit.
Right.
What you realize, what I learned after that is like the problem with that though is you forget like life is more than just you. Life is the people around you, and living carefree like that, you're not going to be able to take care of anybody. And everyone I know who like, in the stories I hear about people who like who passed away early or whatever, one of their biggest regrets is always like, damn, like I don't have a family. Like I used to watch, like one of the things I think I do online a lot on my YouTube. I watch like this is one white dude who talks about jail shit. He's from Boston, but Florida at the same time as a Boston, Florida accent. It's fucking crazy. But it's dope. But anyway, he's talking about the dude he was locked up with, and the dude was in there for life. And they both were hitting on the same guard. And one day they're talking solo to each other, and he's just like, yo, my man, like, what are you trying to get out of her? Because I know what I'm trying to get out of her. And the dude is just like, man, you can keep doing what you're doing. It's just that, like, I'm trying to get her to have my son. Trying to have a daughter. Like, I'm trying to like, because I realize, like, I'm in jail for the rest of my life. It ends here. And this is all I want, is just extend my bloodline. I think that biologically we're kind of set for that. And we might not be set to be like, we're not all set to be heteronormative or whatever the fuck. But I think biologically, like, we have an idea of like, I need my legacy to spread, and it can be in so many different ways. But at the same time, I also feel like the idea of like you're growing, and as you get older, everybody can't go. Everybody, like, you have your friends, everybody can't go. So my initial choice was going to be Nipsey Hussle Victory Lap, but I thought that was kind of like, that's easy. That's like, everybody knows about that shit. But I'm gonna go a different place. This is gonna be weird because like we all know I'm a huge Gucci Mane fan. That's my favorite rapper, to the point that like his beefs are my beefs. I'm just like, fuck everybody who dissed them. But I gotta admit, Jeezy has some amazing albums, right? Jeezy has some amazing albums. One album he had in 2014 was called "Seen It All," right? And on "Seen It All," yes, I'm gonna play the song "I've Seen It All." It's called "Bees Like," BEEZ.
Oh my God.
Like, because this album really is him, just as Jeezy. Because like for a long time, Jeezy was just trapping. It was just trapping, motivation, inspiration. 103, all that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was doing like Hustler's Ambition, all that shit. But then around after like he had the recession where he kind of grew up a little bit, but then after he had Seen It All, where he's just like, all right, I'm done with this. I'm done with this life. I don't need to be in the streets like that.
And T, before you play this record,
yeah,
this is why we align, bro. So the dope thing about Seen It All, right? I was living in Atlanta at the time. This is right before I moved back. And I was chilling with my cousin JoJo. And he kept playing this record all the time. And what was so dope about it is, like you said, it was to the point where you could hear and understand, and technically speaking, just from a technical standpoint, the statute of limitation was up.
Yeah.
So Jeezy was able to talk about certain things he couldn't talk about before. And hearing him lay it all on paper, everything that he went through, and being honest about his experiences, and just being so descriptive and 100 about everything, that's where you just want to get, man. And when you get to that point, it's a certain level of freedom you can't replace, bro. And that's where I'm at now, man. I'm not apologizing for nothing that I got going on anymore.
Yeah, that's real. That's being an adult, man. That's being like, this is where it's supposed to be. We're like, we're secure in ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And this album, man, was just, I remember where I was at Boston. I was at another temp job, just struggling. I got fired after a week. My car was on fire. You know what I'm saying? A girl that just ghosted me. A bunch of shit was going down. But at the same time as all that shit, I hosted a show that ended up owing the venue like $700. Plus the acts, I owed everybody's size. I was down $1,500. My car was smoking. My best friend was moving away. Mm-hmm. I just got ghosted. But then I got a fucking DM from a nigga that had been following me for a while. It was like, yo, you want to audition for this show? And that got me my first trip to New York. And then flash forward 7 years, man, that nigga has a show and I work for him. So it's just like,
And look where you are now. Digital consultant, DC Sumero. Like,
yeah,
bro, that's what I'm saying. Like that right there, don't ever shortchange yourself, bro. What you're doing is major. I don't care how anybody views it. Where you came from to where you are now, it was written, bro.
thanks,
and,
man.
And all you had to do was put the puzzle pieces in places. And that's what I tell people is like, yo, we all born to be great. I don't think anybody's ever meant to struggle through life or have their life super fucked up. But it's when you have the ability to acknowledge and understand what your purpose is and what you're trying to do, you put the puzzle pieces where they need to go. I don't care what you believe in, whether you think it's yourself, a higher power, a different higher power than God. I don't care what it is. Whatever your purpose is or what you're supposed to be doing, it's only going to take you to a certain point. And if you don't start putting those puzzle pieces where they need to go, it's not going to happen. So to see where you are, bro, that's not by accident. It's because you stayed persistent. You didn't let yourself down. You didn't let up. And now everything is aligning how it was already supposed to.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate you saying that, bro. And that, I think that's a great point to end on. Just do me a favor, just tell people where to follow you, what the new project is, and then
for sure, man. At Darius Heywood, that's Darius Heywood on our platforms. You know, I got the project out From the East. I put out in 2019. Black Diamond, I put out in 2016, and I got the project I'm working on called Float. That'll be out in a few months, man. And I just hope, you know, everybody just takes time to try to gravitate towards it and just understand where I'm coming from. I think everybody's gonna enjoy the music, and I think we're just getting started, man. I see a real bright future, man. Stars in the sky ain't the limit, man. That's just kind of like the entry point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna tell you what I heard a famous nigga just say, bro. Something like prayer is real, God is real. That's all you gotta say. You know what I mean? We just gotta keep staying forward, keep staying positive, keep doing what we doing. Because at the end of the day, we can't ask for things. We have to put in the work, and we put in the work, and we believe we can make the shit happen. We can achieve. You know what I mean? So let's just keep doing that. And to everyone listening at home, thank you so much. This is another episode of Tawanda's Live Request. I appreciate y'all. We all appreciate everything you guys do. Listen to the podcast more. I gotta drink some water. My mouth's getting so dry. But yeah, that's it, y'all. Y'all be cool, and we done. Peace.
Thank you, bro. Love you, bro.
Love you too, man. That was good. That was great, bro. That was fucking fantastic.